Greetings at Cheating Story Lab. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and let us know your location in the comments below. I believed I knew everything about deceit until I uncovered my wife's 2-year plan to seize my home. My identity is irrelevant, but this tale holds significance. This could easily happen to anyone who trusts excessively and questions insufficiently. The events unfolded 3 months ago when I returned from a business trip early. I work in logistics, often traveling approximately twice a month, and this time to Denver was cut short due to weather. I intended to surprise Nadia, my wife of 7 years. Upon arriving home around 4 p.m., I expected to find her either preparing dinner or watching Netflix. Instead, our kitchen revealed divorce papers strewn across the counter. She wasn't alone. A man I'd never encountered before was seated at our dining table, provided by My Kitchen. He appeared to be in his mid-40s, wearing an expensive suit and carrying a briefcase. He gazed at me with a chilling, analytical gaze and uttered, "It seems you're the husband." Nadia abruptly stood as if she had been caught red-handed, though not in the manner I suspected. She presented him as Trevor, her legal consultant. She mentioned she was merely gathering documentation for taxes. The divorce documents, those were intended for her sister, she asserted. Her sister was said to be experiencing a tumultuous separation. However, I knew it was a falsehood. Her inability to meet my gaze, the way this Trevor fellow scrutinized me like a puzzle to decipher, something was definitely amiss. Yet, I remained silent. For now. Instead, I smiled, shook hands with Trevor, and informed them I would leave them to complete their tax tasks. Then, I climbed upstairs and embarked on an endeavor I had never before undertaken in my marriage, investigating my own spouse. What I uncovered over the following weeks shattered everything I believed about the woman I had adored for 7 years. I uncovered that Nadia had been rendezvousing with Trevor for months, not just any attorney, but a divorce specialist focusing on asset recovery. His business card, concealed in her handbag, bore dates of appointments tracing back 6 months. However, the most troubling aspect was what I stumbled upon as I delved into our financials. Nadia had meticulously cataloged my possessions. She had pictures of my watch collection, tools, and even my late grandfather's antique desk. She had been constructing a case suggesting I concealed assets from her, and it was unsettling to find that she had not only researched the worth of our residence, but had it appraised, not once, but twice. The house we resided in held immense significance for me. It wasn't just any dwelling but the one I grew up in, left to me by my grandmother Rosa, who passed away 5 years ago. After my parents perished in a car crash when I was 12, Rosa raised me. This home served as the place where she molded me into a man, consoled me during my tears, and rejoiced with me upon my college graduation. It was the last remnant of my family that I clung to. When I wed Nadia, I believed I was offering her a house. What I failed to comprehend was that she viewed it as her future retirement abode. One Tuesday night in March, I confronted her about it all. I presented the evidence, the lawyer meetings, the financial documents, the appraisals. I assumed she would deny it, weep, express remorse. Instead, she regarded me with a cold smile and remarked, "You should have been more cautious about what you jointly owned." It was then that she disclosed the truth. For the past 2 years, she had been plotting our divorce, not out of dissatisfaction, but because she coveted half of everything I possessed, including Rosa's house. She had researched well. In our state, properties acquired during marriage are considered marital property, even if they're inherited. During our marriage, I inherited the house, but her lawyer argued she had a rightful claim to half of its value, worth $400,000. She intended either to force me to sell and split the profit or buy me out for $200,000 I didn't possess. I felt suffocated as the house was more than just property. It represented my grandmother's inheritance, my childhood memories, and my history. However, my wife, whom I had trusted with my heart, made a significant oversight. She overlooked the deed details because Rosa, upon transferring the house to me, created a trust rather than placing it solely in my name. Rosa, who lived through the Great Depression, was cautious about safeguarding her possessions and had feared losing everything due to technicalities and legal loopholes. Consequently, she took steps to secure the house in a trust, a unique type of trust created by Rosa years prior to her death, managed by her attorney, prevented Nadia from making certain actions on the house. The house was explicitly stated in the trust documents as non-marital property, which meant it could not be sold or transferred without the collective agreement of all beneficiaries. Furthermore, if I died or divorced, the house would automatically pass to the subsequent generation. Although I had overlooked the legal specifics, I was aware that Rosa had left me the house, and that sufficed. Upon scrutinizing the original trust documents, I understood that Nadia held no rightful claim to the house, as it had never been legally mine to relinquish. Her attempt at seizing something that wasn't hers legitimately was exposed. After this revelation, the divorce process accelerated. Confident and boastful, Nadia presented appraisals as if they were lucky lottery wins, but her deceit was soon unmasked. Nadia had chosen a condo using her share from the house sale, and Trevor, her lawyer, was equally certain about the property's immediate sale. He had filed motions for this purpose and prepared arguments regarding concealed assets and my lack of compliance with fair division. They were convinced they would prevail. The court date was scheduled for a Friday morning. In that courtroom, I sat with my attorney, observing Nadia and Trevor conversing animatedly at their table. Nadia frequently glanced at me with an arrogant look, as if she had already secured victory. Trevor delivered his speech. He discussed marital property rights, inherited assets, and my ethical duty to share the house with my wife of 7 years. He presented the appraisals, photographs, and documents detailing our home's worth. The judge listened attentively, posed a few questions, before addressing my attorney. The attorney rose and stated, "I wish to submit the authentic trust papers pertaining to the disputed property." As my lawyer clarified that the house wasn't mine, but part of Rose's trust with me as the beneficiary, Nadia's expression altered. The court document indicated that the house couldn't be classified as marital property under any conditions due to the trust terms. After scrutinizing the papers meticulously, the judge looked at Trevor and inquired, "Did you examine the actual deed prior to filing these motions?" Trevor blanched. The judge then said, "You had not checked the trust documents, counselor." When the judge disclosed Rose's name on the deed as the legal owner through the trust structure, Nadia's face paled. Immediately, the court dismissed all of her claims to the house. Nadia couldn't obtain even a fraction of the house's value, let alone anything else. The house was safeguarded. However, the narrative doesn't conclude there, as losing the house wasn't the most detrimental event for Nadia. What followed was her greatest adversity. Trevor was so certain about his case that he had been preparing for a contingency. He anticipated receiving payment for his services from Nadia's settlement. Upon the dismissal of the house claim, he demanded immediate repayment for 6 months of legal work. Nadia didn't have the funds. She had planned to use the proceeds from the house sale to cover her lawyer fees, her condo, and her new life. To add insult to injury, my attorney filed a motion for legal fees, arguing that Nadia's case was groundless and had been filed in bad faith. The judge concurred. Consequently, Nadia was compelled to pay not only her own legal fees, but also mine, amounting to nearly $30,000 in total. The woman who attempted to seize my house ended up depleting her savings, losing her lawyer, and her marriage. After returning to live with my mother and starting work at a call center, I continue residing in Rose's house. Every morning upon waking, I recall my grandmother and her ability to shield me even beyond her passing. She seemed to comprehend something that I did not. Often, those closest to us can inflict the greatest wounds. I've come to understand that love transcends trust. It encompasses discernment. It involves safeguarding what is most valuable, even from those we desire to trust the most. Nadia instilled in me this lesson, demonstrating that deception isn't solely about discovering someone with another person. At times, it signifies finding someone in your kitchen with legal documents, intent on dismantling your life piece by piece. Though the house is now silent, often eerily so, it remains mine and secure, a fact for which Rose would be proud. If you've reached this point, thank you for lending an ear to my narrative. If you haven't subscribed yet, do so now. Give a thumbs up and comment if you've ever encountered someone attempting to take something that wasn't theirs. Share this video with someone who may find it helpful. Take care for now.